Logan Cooley does something no other Utah Mammoth player has ever done. A historic night as Utah takes down Vegas.
You are Locked On Mammoth, your daily podcast on the Utah Mammoth, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, everyone, and welcome in once again to Locked On Mammoth. I'm veteran NHL voice Tom Callahan, joined as always by longtime team analyst Robyn Leaño, and we are part of the Locked On Podcast Network, now the #1 sports podcast network. A historic night for the Utah Mammoth and Logan Cooley. We're going to tell you why right after I tell you. Tonight's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com and win $300 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. A 5-1 win for the Mammoth over the Vegas Golden Knights. The season series is now split at a game apiece. They won't see each other until well into the new year, I believe March. As a matter of fact, March 19th is the last remaining meeting here. But now, Robyn, this win is big for so many reasons. It is big because now it's 2 in a row in the win column, because it looks like a different Mammoth team, and the coming out party for Logan Cooley just reached a whole new level.
Yeah. Let's just go in that Logan Cooley appreciation just for just for that a little bit extra longer, Tom, because a 5-point night for Logan Cooley, 4 goals. Unbelievable.
And speaking of history, that is the first 4-goal game in Utah Mammoth history / Utah Hockey Club. It's never been done. 4 goals, first time ever in franchise history. So congratulations to Cooley for that. A 5-goal night. And Robyn, you've got a fun little tidbit about these youngsters and their hat tricks in the NHL this season.
Oh yeah, this is absolutely amazing. When I found this out, when I heard about it, is that Logan Cooley now becomes only the 3rd player to have multiple hat tricks at this point in the season, and the other 2 players, Tom, are all young ones. The other ones, probably won't no surprise, are Connor Bedard of the Chicago Blackhawks and Macklin Celebrini of the San Jose Sharks. Like, to think about that, the next generation of hockey is just going lights out right now, playing incredible hockey. And just think about some of the top draft picks of just the last few years. Logan Cooley being drafted, I think a little bit different because he was drafted 3rd overall, not 1st overall, compared to Bedard and Celebrini, who were both 1st overall in their respective drafts.
And Robyn, the thing about tonight's game, and I want to talk about this, is not every number lines up to look good for the Mammoth in this game. And I think that's important. They did not play what could be their best hockey tonight. There were some letdowns, there were some mistakes, there were some things that happened. However, at the end of the day, remember what we were talking about heading into this game, about how we wanted to see improvement. We wanted to see them take a step forward again and really continue that momentum that they picked up coming off of the weekend. I think we did see that tonight.
We wanted to see that, and what I also wanted to see, Tom, was no leftover of the over emotion chippiness of whatever happened the last time they played each other. Because whatever happened in the last game was a disaster, and they didn't want to forget that. But instead, though, is you don't remember what happened on that part, but what you do remember is that they beat you. And what you need to do is you need to come back and say, hey, you beat us like that on home ice? No. We're going to take care of business, and we are going to turn the tables and essentially just do the exact same thing against you. And again, it was still on home, on Utah still on home ice, but they answered right back. And that's what they needed. They needed an answer like that after the game they had last time against Vegas.
I like how you sent me the GIF from The Office of my how the turntables, which that made me laugh. And if you're an Office fan, you'll catch that reference. But Robyn, it really was a tale of 2 different games. It was from the 4-1 loss to the 5-1 win.
I have the graphic for it too, Tom.
Yeah, let's jump right into that. It looks a lot different.
It is to look a lot different. All right. By the way, you guys remember this graphic I brought up from the game against Vegas on last week, right on the 20th? How atrocious that looks when you see everyone scoring in the negatives. Just an absolute bad night. And then you take a look at the grade score for tonight. Tom, look at the difference here, where you had everyone, even the defenseman, having a positive. Mikhail Sergachev having a positive score here. Ian Cole, Nate Schmidt, by the way, they've been looking fantastic. But you see Logan Cooley, by the way, 5.91 score. It's unbelievable.
Logan Cooley's bar graph looks like mine when I was taking all those standardized tests in school. You know, the bar graph goes off the end of the page. That's like, it's fantastic to see a 5.91 score on the game score breakdown for Logan Cooley. 5 points, 4 goals, and an assist tonight. Dylan Guenther, he had a really nice goal in the game. And it's good to see Dylan Guenther clicking again, too. That is an important thing. I really feel like
that duo in general, Tom.
Yeah.
That duo is so freaking lethal. And I feel like at this point, like, you realize you can't break those two up.
It's kind of an interesting, you're trying to find chemistry, right? Because we had the pickup line going earlier in the season. Then we had that things jumbled around a little bit, and then Lawson Krause moves in with JJ Peterka, and just trying to find that chemistry and that spark once again. And really, on paper, you always say to yourself as a coach, well, we should put a shooter with a playmaker, right? It doesn't always work for whatever reason. But right now, Robyn, and I think here's the interesting part of the evolution of Logan Cooley's game. I feel like Logan Cooley has the ability to be a shooter and a playmaker. I feel like he is going to be one of those rare talents that can play a different style depending on the matchup and can rely on a good shot, a quick release, a nose for the net, along with an eye and a vision for the game and be able to make those passes to set up teammates too. That's a rare player.
It's just so nice. It's so nice to see, especially when you're watching in that game, right? You're just like, we are so lucky to have a player like this caliber.
Yeah, he carried Utah. Absolutely carried Utah. Because like we said, it was not the best overall game for Utah. I mean, they were still 40% in the faceoff circle. That's not great. They only had 4 shots in the second period. They got outshot 16-4 in the second period, and that's not great. But situationally, Robyn, I felt like they did a much better job of taking care of things tonight. And Veg gave him a couple of big saves when they needed it.
Veg looked pretty good. Yeah, he looked pretty good.
He needed that kind of game. So I was glad to see that. And now, not to look ahead too far, Montreal's coming in next. And the Canadiens are starting to slow down a little bit. So, Robyn, now all of a sudden you're poised to maybe turn things around. I have a question, though, that I want to get into, and I'm interested actually to ask everybody's thoughts on this, too, in the comments. And, of course, you can always find us on social media and let us know what you think. But, Robyn, did Logan Cooley's performance, A, buy André Tourigny a lot more time, and B, did it turn the season around? Is this the pivot game where they go through their turmoil and their tumult and they come out the other side and now that it's behind them and we've learned our lessons? Is this the game that turns this season around?
That is the big ticket question, Tom. It is the big ticket question. And you know what? The way I'll answer this is I hope so. Right? I hope, at least for that second part, of that question. The first part is, that still remains to be seen, right? We'll still have to see how some things answer, because sometimes the players they can't save the coach. You and I have our opinion still, but we'll reserve that for the conversation a little bit later. But I feel like the way Logan Cooley played and the energy it brought, not just to the team, but to the Delta Center, and I feel like just everyone around, it brought that spark back. It brought the energy back, and I feel like that's what they need. And they're starting to get that confidence back. That losing streak, that skid, you can tell they were losing confidence. They needed a game of a performance, whether it was a team performance or an individual performance like that, to be able to bring that spark back.
Cooley, during his first star interview after the game tonight, said something that I found very interesting and honestly kind of makes me ask a couple of questions. And I'm going to tell you what he said in just a minute. And today's show brought to you by FanDuel. Hey, the NBA's back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you miss the start of the game, or maybe you want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who'll score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine those live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It keeps every game exciting, especially when the Jazz are making that late push. Right now, FanDuel's giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com, sign up, and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Tom Callahan, Robyn Leaño, Locked on Mammoth. Thanks for making us your first listen each and every single day. When it comes to this Utah Mammoth hockey team, a big win, 5-1 over the Vegas Golden Knights. Logan Cooley, 4 goals and an assist, 5-point night, had a hand in everything tonight. After the game, as he's sitting there on the bench giving his first star honor or his first star interview, Cooley said something that caught my ear. Robyn, the question was some form of, and I'm paraphrasing, what was the message that kind of sank in with you guys? Like, what was the impetus to play the way you played now the last 2 games? And Cooley said, going back to playing the game the right way and putting forth that effort. And I immediately thought to myself, why the hell did they spend all of November playing the game the wrong way? Why are they only going back to playing the game the right way now? Why did they waste 3 weeks playing the game the wrong way? That kind of annoyed me, that answer. And I understand. Cooley is a cliche machine. He's never going to say anything controversial. Most hockey players don't, right? But that one actually bothered me on like a cellular level as I thought about it. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. You know what the right way is and how to play, and you're just doing it now? Am I overreacting?
I mean, it's interesting because if there was a couple of games, then and he answered that, I would be like, okay, yeah, like you tried something and didn't work. But you're right. It was 3 weeks. So you're wondering, okay, what are we seeing here? But at the same time, Tom, and it's interesting that you mentioned that, because how many times on this show during this skid have I said that Utah needs to go back to playing their game? And they've been forced not to do that. And we've been seeing that, right? We've been seeing that they're not playing their game. They did get back to it, but, especially that speed. But at the same time, where was that before? Like, why did you not do that earlier? Like, why did you not figure it out?
Yeah, that kind of
it's a double-edged thing, Tom.
I was taken aback by that answer. I really felt like, I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me that you go through 3 weeks of struggling like that, and at times looking just lifeless. And I mean, everybody on that bench looked lifeless. They had bad body language. They looked detached. They looked out of it, not plugged in or engaged whatsoever. Now you put a couple of good games together, or better games together, which is also heartening, as I said earlier, that they didn't do everything well, because it's not their best hockey yet. Good. That means there's more to come. But something about that just didn't sit right with me.
I mean, that brings me to concern, though, that if they get attacked back to, quote, playing the right way, but that's getting their confidence back after those string of games, does this tell me, Tom, and does this tell you, and this is something that concerns me, that it takes one bad game to derail this team and make them think and get them on that kind of a slump? Because is that what we're seeing? Is that what we saw in the beginning of November? It took them one bad game, took them to derail, and then they tried a bunch of different things to see if they could fix it. Then there was like, you know what? We should go back to what worked. After that long,
You know what would solve this, Robin? Dare I say it? Consistency.
yes.
Consistency would solve this problem.
Well,
So we're
again,
still
it's a consistency thing, Tom. But the point I'm making, though, is like asking whether or not this is the confidence issue. Confidence in your own game. Because again, if like you're playing your game and for one game it doesn't work and it derails you, all of a sudden you try a million different things. Like, does this team, is it the youth of this team still? I mean, again, it's a weird thing to say at this point, but is the youth of this team still where their poise isn't there, or what is it, Tom? Like,
And that's my bigger question. And if you're watching on YouTube, by the way, go ahead and feel free to smash that like button over there, or just give it a gentle nudge if you are on the YouTube side. We appreciate that. That helps us out a lot. Robin, what changed? What changed from a couple of days ago when a 4-1 loss to Vegas to now? Like what is the difference?
and again, bringing these up again in that stark difference, like
Right.
this is the same two teams playing against each other in just a matter of what, 5 days?
Right.
Like,
So what's different? When you look at this team and you watch this team, and you know what? Throw your ideas down in the comments too. What is different to you about this team that you're seeing right now? Is it the different line combinations? Is it just simply effort and energy? What is it?
yeah, it's interesting.
I'm trying to figure out when I look at Logan Cooley, and I think super gifted performer, right? Dylan Guenther scores, you get the energy flowing early. Here comes the cliche for you. It's a simple game, right? There's one puck. You know what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to possess the puck and then eventually put it in the other team's goal. And Robin, I think when they are directed towards going to get the puck, expending the energy to do so, and then getting to the front of the net. I mean, the shots they took tonight, a lot of them, I mean, Cooley, kind of gets a little lucky on that breakaway, but still, it's an effort play, and he deserves that goal. Guenther was a great shot. Cooley, of course, had 2 empty netters tonight, one of which was shorthanded. But that doesn't mean they're not deserving of those breaks. They worked hard to get them.
Mhm.
But that's why I think it bothers me, and it kind of sticks with me a little bit, that I think to myself, boy, I feel like that effort should have been there earlier.
Yeah.
I just feel like it was missing during the streak, and that's what bothers me. But it's good to see that it's back. I hope they keep it for the rest of the year, because you're not making the playoffs if you don't keep that effort. This is a tough division, and teams are starting to wake up, except Nashville. Sorry, Nashville. I got to pick on you guys. It's a bad season for the Predators.
My hope, though, Tom, is that maybe there was a closed door meeting that we didn't hear about. Maybe the leaders of this team, not just the leaders, not just your Clayton Kellers and your Lawson Krause, but your Nate Schmidts, your Ian Coles, your those who have been around the game, kind of sat in and had a deep conversation with each other and said, all right, who are we really? Let's figure this out together.
Yep. And that's, what those guys have been making an impact. And I know, Robin, I want to talk about Nate Schmidt here in just a second too, because actually Schmidt's been making an impact both on and off the ice here lately. And so I think we need to dive a little deeper into that.
And today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Hockey season is here, and nothing beats being in the arena for those opening games. But let's be real. Getting tickets can be a total headache. Between waiting in queues, surprise fees, and prices that jump right before checkout, it's easy to get frustrated when all you want to do is cheer on the Mammoth, right, guys? Well, that's where Game Time comes in. It's the app that gives fans the advantage. It's your ultimate life hack to score some amazing NHL tickets fast, easy, and stress-free. I have been using Game Time ever since I discovered it years ago. We're talking almost 10 years at this point. First time I ever used it was a Stanley Cup playoff game, San Jose Sharks and St. Louis Blues, and I was able to take a look at what's my all-in price after fees, so I don't even have to be surprised with what the price is. I can see what the view of the seats are going to be before we purchase the tickets. And it told me whether or not it was a good deal. It was overall, it was absolutely great. Now they have zone deals that are a game changer. You pick the section, Game Time picks your seats, and you save big. You can even find NHL tickets for under $25. Take the guesswork out of buying NHL tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. That's code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go.
Tom Callahan, Robyn Leaño back here with you, locked on Mammoth, as again a historic 5-1 win tonight with Logan Cooley, the first Mammoth player / Utah hockey clubber ever to notch 4 goals in a game. So very cool. Congratulations to Logan, a 5-point night as well. Dylan Guenther had the other goal. But Robyn, Nate Schmidt's a guy that we've talked about a little bit here and there. Fresh off a cup win with the Panthers last year. But you pointed out tonight, and you actually made the comment to me about how much you've been enjoying watching Schmidt lately and really being a part of things. And I mean, tonight's game score also, I think, illustrates that he really has been kind of making himself a little bit more known, let's say.
He has, and it's nice because what we've been talking about, Tom, is the necessary of bringing in leaders, someone who can kind of help reel things in, and show what it takes to win a game. And Nate Schmidt does that. And he does that both on and off the ice. And I think I think that's the most important thing.
It's good to have the veteran experience and someone who's been there and won that. And you want to be able to have that guy show you the way. And the Mammoth have several of them. But I think that's also what helps find your way through the dark days, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is not only the words in the locker room, but out there on the ice, that veteran that steps up. And look, Nate Schmidt isn't going to fool anybody and go end to end. You know, he's not Bobby Orr back there, but he is playing a smart game.
Mm-hmm.
And he's jumping in and making himself a bigger piece of the puzzle as it goes along. And I think that that's really something big right now for this Mammoth team that they need.
I think it's also important to put out and mention that Nate Schmidt played a part in both of the first 2 goals in the first period. He had the secondary assist in both Cooley and Guenther's goals. So,
and you got to love that. And I mean, that's
like, it was the same 3 players involved in each of those goals, right? It was Cooley, Guenther, Schmidt in each one of those. It's just who got the goal in each of those where was different. It was from Schmidt to Cooley to Guenther, and then from Schmidt to Guenther to Cooley.
Man, I still love that Guenther goal was very impressive. I thought that was great.
That was
just, you want to see him shoot more.
Shoot more.
He's
I mean, that's what you get. I mean, how many times have I said Gunther's a sniper and a true goal scorer? That's what he was brought in to be.
Yes, exactly. So now, Robyn, we look ahead to Montreal here, and now the challenge is to keep this momentum going as the Canadiens come into town. And the Canadiens, you know what? They started off really hot this year, but now they've kind of stumbled their way back out of the playoff picture. So I think they're catching them at the right time, hopefully at exactly the right time.
Oh, yeah. And I feel like the confidence boost that they just got, I think should carry over. I would sure hope it does.
Well, it's fickle, right? Confidence is fickle. But as you pointed out earlier, right now, there's no reason this team shouldn't have it. They played 2 pretty good games now. And I don't know what it took to get the message through, but hopefully now the message has gotten through and they keep that fire in the belly.
And they just need to string together more than just a couple of games, right? And they need to keep that consistency. If they find if this is how they're gonna play now, great. I just need them we just need to keep the keep the streak going. Not even keep the streak, but just keep the momentum going. Don't get that confidence shaken. Don't try to go another 6-7 game losing streak, whatever. Because they can't afford that again. How many times have we said, and it's bringing back what you said earlier, Tom? It's those managing peaks and valleys, right? You cannot just have a great and then a bad, and a great and then a bad. You need to figure out where your true mean is, and at the very least be around there as your low, and then still have those good moments. We'd love to see those good moments.
Yes, absolutely. And at least we're not the Maple Leafs.
At least you're not the Maple Leafs. Yeah.
Oh,
that's
Leafs
true.
Nation.
They're falling down. Yeah. That's something else.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, Robyn, if folks want to find us over there on the social medias, where can they find us these days?
Yeah, you can find us everywhere on social media. That's at Locked On Mammoth, Primarily active over on X. I do want to also mention before we close, Tom, this is something I wanted to put out there. Because I told you I wanted to put this out on the show.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
And I do want to mention it before we close is, as you know, Tom, I love to promote, the hockey family, right? I said, no matter what we're doing, hockey's a family. Utah just lost a member of its hockey family over the weekend. Xylee Hutchinson, one of the girls hockey player in Northern Utah, passed away over a car accident over the weekend. It's devastating. I felt like I want to cry right now. There was a GoFundMe going for her funeral costs and for the medical bills for that happened, to try to keep her alive and after the accident happened. That I will share. I will share it on social media. I'll probably see if I'll share it with Tom, so maybe you can put it in the description for this episode. But because that's what it is. Hockey's a family, and we're out there supporting everybody. But I want to put out there and say that our hearts are with the family, and as well as her teammates, her friends, and everything like that, because that's far too young to have anything like this happen.
Yeah. Absolutely. So yes, definitely check out our social media if you're interested in helping with the GoFundMe, or at the very least, I mean, if you can't contribute, that's fine. Maybe just reposting it, or sharing it with your followers. That would also be very helpful.
It sure will be. But yeah, we'll have it shared to everybody. And again, that's you could find that. I'll have it again on our Twitter at Locked On Mammoth, as well as my personal account. I'll see if I can get that shared again at Robyn_Leaño.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and I'm on Blue Sky at Tom Talks and Twitter at Callahan on there. And as Robyn says, I mean, the entire hockey community, our thoughts are with her family right now. So tragic passing, and yeah, far too young. I agree. All right. Well, once again, everybody, I mean, we thank you for being a part of the show. As always, we're glad that you're here and along for the ride with us. And you know what? This is a community. It is a family. And that's what we're building here. And that's why we're glad you're a part of it. So until tomorrow, we will preview the Montreal game. For Robyn, I'm Tom saying thanks for watching Locked On Mammoth.